I just found this in my pocket, and I almost spent it. I'm not kidding. What looked like a normal coin turned out to be a silent fortune. That's when I realized this is happening everywhere. Stop right now. Do not spend these coins. Check yours, because each one I show you gets more shocking than the last. You ever get that uneasy feeling? Like something small in your pocket might actually be worth more than everything in your wallet combined? That's exactly what's happening with this 1942 Jefferson war nickel with a P mint mark. And most people miss it because it doesn't shine. In fact, it looks wrong, dark, almost burned at the edges. And that's where the trap begins. Because what looks damaged to the average person is exactly what collectors are hunting. Back in 1942, the United States was under extreme pressure. World War II wasn't just overseas, it was felt in factories, in homes, and yes, even in your coins. Nickel metal was urgently needed for war production, especially for armor and weapons. So the US Mint made a drastic decision that would change coin history forever. They altered the composition of the Jefferson nickel, creating what we now call the war nickel. This wasn't just a design change, it was a survival move. That year, for the first time ever, the Philadelphia Mint placed a large P mint mark above Monticello on the reverse side. And that alone should grab your attention. Because prior to 1942 Philadelphia coins didn't carry a mint mark at all. So when you see that bold P sitting above the building on the back, it's not decoration. It's a signal, a marker of a moment in history where everything changed. Now look closer at the coin itself. On the front, you've got Thomas Jefferson's profile, calm, composed, but often worn down, in very fine condition. The word liberty stretches across the side, paired with the year 1942. But what's wild is how these letters interact with the toning. That grey-yellow wash across the surface, it's not dirt. It's time. It's chemistry. It's the result of a coin that lived through decades without being disturbed. Flip it over, and Monticello stands there, but not like you're used to seeing. The steps may be slightly softened, the lines not razor-sharp, but that's expected. What you're really watching for is that large P mint mark above the building, and the strange contrast between the center and the edges. That dark, almost black antique look creeping in from the rim, that's not damage, it's character. And collectors are obsessed with it. Here's where things get even more intense. This coin isn't made of pure nickel like earlier versions. It's a wartime alloy, 35% silver, 56% copper, and 9% manganese. That silver content is exactly why these coins age differently. It gives them that unique toning, that subtle glow under the darkness. And when preserved correctly, that toning becomes a fingerprint. No two are exactly alike. Physically, this coin feels different too, even if you don't realize it at first. It weighs exactly 5 grams. The diameter sits at 21.2 millimeters. The thickness, around 1.95 millimeters. But it's the girth, the edge feel, that gives it away. Slightly smoother, slightly softer from circulation, yet still solid. When you hold it, you're not just holding currency, you're holding a piece of wartime adaptation. Now here's the part most people ignore, and it costs them everything. Survival. These coins were used heavily during the war years and long after. They weren't protected. They weren't saved. They were spent, dropped, scratched, and forgotten. So finding one today in very fine condition, with original toning still intact, that's rare. Extremely rare. And the darker the edges, the more untouched it likely is. But listen carefully. This is where people destroy their own fortune. They try to clean it. They see the darkness and think it's dirt. They grab a cloth, maybe even chemicals, and they wipe away decades of natural toning in seconds. And just like that, the value is gone. Completely. Collectors don't want shiny, they want original. That antique surface, that's the proof of authenticity. Do not spend this coin. And whatever you do, never clean it. That grey-yellow tone, that black edge fade, it's everything. It tells the story. It confirms the metal composition. It signals to professional graders that this coin has not been tampered with. And grading, that's critical. Without it, you're guessing. With it, you're entering a completely different level of the market. Collectors don't just like this coin, they chase it. Quietly. Aggressively. When one appears at auction with strong original toning and a clear P mint mark, the room changes. Bids don't come in slowly, they jump. Fast. Sharp. Emotional. Because everyone in that room knows supply is shrinking and demand is only getting stronger. These coins aren't being made anymore, and the best ones are being locked away. Right now, a 1942p Jefferson war nickel in very fine condition with that kind of natural toning has reached values around $140. Façon hundredth, let that sink in. A coin most people would toss into a vending machine is actually serious money. Hidden wealth. A silent fortune sitting unnoticed in jars, drawers, and pockets across the country. So here's what you do. Check the year first, 1942. Then flip it over and look for that large P above Monticello. Then examine the surface. Is there natural toning, dark edges, a grey-yellow blend across the fields? If yes, stop. Don't touch it. Don't clean it. Protect it. Because what you're holding might not just be a coin, it might be a life-changing opportunity. And if you think this is rare, the next coin I'm about to show you makes this one look common. It's more dangerous to ignore, harder to spot, and the mistake people make with it is even worse. Stay with me, because what comes next changes everything. Most people would walk right past this coin without a second thought. And that's exactly why it's so dangerous. The 1943 Jefferson war nickel with an S mint mark doesn't scream value, it whispers it. That soft grey-yellow tone across both sides, it doesn't look special. It doesn't shine. And that's the trap. Because while it sits there looking ordinary, collectors see something completely different. Something they're willing to fight for. 1943 wasn't just another year, it was pressure at its peak. The United States was deep in World War II, and every ounce of metal mattered. Nickel was critical for military production, so the mint had no choice but to adapt again. That's why this coin exists in the first place. It's not just currency, it's a direct result of a nation under strain, reshaping even its smallest objects to survive. And here's where it gets serious. The San Francisco Mint stamped this coin with an S, but not in some hidden corner. No, they placed it boldly above Monticello on the reverse side, making it impossible to ignore if you know where to look. Most people don't. They flip coins quickly, glance once, and move on. That's how silent fortunes slip through fingers every single day. Now take a slow look at the front. Thomas Jefferson's profile is still there, steady and composed, facing left. The word liberty stretches along the side, followed by the year 1943, but in extra fine condition, something subtle happens. The details are sharper, the hairlines more defined, yet still softened just enough to prove it's lived a real life in circulation. That balance, that's what collectors crave. Flip it over, and Monticello stands centered, framed by the inscriptions E pluribus unum above and Monticello, 5 cents, and United States of America below. But what really pulls the eye is that S mint mark above the building. It's bold, it's unmistakable, and when paired with that grey-yellow toning spreading across the surface, it creates a look that's impossible to fake. That toning isn't random. It's the result of the coin's unique wartime composition: 35% silver, 56% copper, and 9% manganese. That silver content reacts over time, producing that soft, grey-yellow appearance that almost looks dull to the untrained eye. But to collectors, that's beauty. That's authenticity. That's proof the coin hasn't been messed with. Hold it in your hand, and you'll notice something else. The weight sits right at 5 grams. The diameter measures 21.2 millimeters. Thickness comes in at about 1.95 millimeters. But beyond numbers, there's a presence to it. A slightly worn smoothness along the edges, a natural feel that tells you this coin has moved through decades without being altered. That untouched state is everything. Here's what most people don't realize. Coins like this weren't saved. They were used. Hard. During wartime, nobody was setting aside nickels for the future. They were spent, exchanged, dropped, and forgotten. So finding a 1943S war nickel today in extra fine condition with original toning still intact is not normal. It's rare, quietly rare. And this is where mistakes happen. Someone finds it, notices the discoloration, and thinks it's dirty. They try to fix it. Maybe a quick polish, maybe a rinse, maybe something worse. And just like that, the value collapses. Completely. Because once that original surface is disturbed, collectors walk away. That natural grey-yellow tone, that's the entire story of the coin. Do not spend this coin. And listen carefully, never clean it. Not gently, not lightly, not at all. That surface is fragile history. It's what grading professionals look for when determining authenticity and value. Without that original toning, you don't just lose beauty, you lose credibility in the market. And grading, this is not optional if you're serious. Professional grading turns uncertainty into certainty. It confirms the condition, protects the coin, and places it in a category where serious collectors pay attention. Without it, you're guessing. With it, you're stepping into a world where quiet auctions turn into intense battles. Because that's exactly what happens with coins like this. They don't always show up in flashy sales. Sometimes they appear quietly, and then suddenly, bids start climbing. Fast, focused, emotional. Collectors don't hesitate because they know how few of these exist in this kind of preserved state. They're not buying metal, they're securing a piece of wartime history. Right now, a 1943S Jefferson war nickel in extra fine condition with original grey-yellow toning has reached values around $120 per hundredth. Think about that. A coin that looks completely ordinary, sitting in a drawer, a jar, or even your pocket, is actually a hidden treasure. A silent fortune that most people would never recognize. So here's what you need to do immediately. Check the date, 1943, turn it over and look above Monticello for that S mint mark. Then study the surface. Is there a soft, grey-yellow tone across both sides? Does it look aged, not shiny? If yes, stop everything. You could be holding serious money. This is not fiction. This is happening every day. People unknowingly spending coins that could change their financial situation overnight. And the worst part? Once it's gone, it's gone. These coins don't come back. They disappear into collections, into vaults, into hands that never let them go. But if you think this one is powerful, the next coin is on a completely different level. Rarer, more misunderstood. And the way people lose it is almost unbelievable. Stay with me, because the next discovery might be the one hiding in your pocket right now. There's a coin out there right now, sitting in someone's change jar that looks so worn, so dark, so imperfect, they almost threw it away. And that exact mistake is costing people a fortune. The 1944 Jefferson war nickel with an S mint mark is one of the most misunderstood coins in circulation because everything about its appearance screams damaged, when in reality, it's screaming hidden treasure. Let me paint the picture for you. So, you pick it up, and the first thing you notice is the color. It's not clean, not bright, not even consistent. The edges are dark, almost black, like they've been burned by time itself. Scattered across the surface, you see what looks like rusty brown spots. And right in the center, a faded gray-yellow tone that feels dull, almost lifeless. Most people don't even give it a second glance. They assume it's worthless. That's the moment they lose everything. Because 1944 wasn't normal. The United States was still deep in World War II, and the pressure on resources hadn't eased. Nickel was still too valuable for military use, so the mint continued producing these special wartime nickels using a completely different metal blend. This coin exists because of crisis, because of adaptation, because of a country doing whatever it took to keep going. And that story is locked into the surface of this coin. Now look at the front. Thomas Jefferson's profile is still there, but in fine condition, the details are softened. The sharpness is gone, replaced by a smoother, aged appearance. Liberty and the year 1944 are still visible, but they blend into the toning, almost like they're part of the metal itself. That's not weakness, that's authenticity. That's proof this coin has survived decades without interference. Flip it over, and Monticello stands quietly in the center, surrounded by the inscriptions E Pluribus Unum above and United States of America, along with 5 cents below. But the real signal, the detail that changes everything, is that S mint mark sitting boldly above the building. That single letter ties this coin to the San Francisco Mint during one of the most intense periods in American history. And here's where things get even deeper. That strange mix of colors, the black edges, the rusty brown spotting, the gray-yellow center, it's not random. It's the direct result of the coin's wartime composition. 35% silver, 56% copper, and 9% manganese. Over time, these metals react differently to air, moisture, and handling.